Good evening and welcome to this Monday edition of Reality Check. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. The custodial death of Jayaraj and Benix has not just shocked Tamil Nadu, it has shocked the entire country. The manner in which the killing took place, and if you listen to the statements of the family members, the violence and also the pain and the injury that was inflicted before their killing, before their murder, before their death. Now, how exactly did this happen? Whether the police did it or not is something which investigation will reveal. But the fact that this was a custodial death, who's responsible for this? Is the police not responsible? And we'll explain through the course of the next 30 minutes how not just in Tamil Nadu, but all over the country, when it comes to matters of custodial deaths, it's very hard to expect the police to police itself, which means that in very few cases would you have convictions against the police itself in matters of custodial deaths. So what exactly happened in this case? Does it smack of a cover-up, or is this actually a genuine investigation and the police is speaking the truth? Because if you speak to people right now in Tamil Nadu, they will tell you what the administration seems to be saying is far from the truth. In fact, it is divorced from the truth. I'm joined in right now by DMK MP Kanimuri. Thank you so much, Kanimuri, for joining us as a representative of Tuticorin. What do you make of the current events, especially the new evidence that has come out?
See, I'd like to begin with the CCTV camera footage which has been released today, because the police have been repeatedly saying that the Jayaraj and Benix, both of them argued with the police, they abused the police and they even threatened the police, and there was a huge crowd which had gathered in front of their shop, and they refused to close their shop even after the stipulated time. So, and this is what they have said in their FIR also, that they sustained injuries because they sat down on the ground and they rolled on the floor. That is why their knee got hurt and the back was bleeding because of resistance. These are the things they've been repeatedly saying, and it's in the FIR. But today from the CCTV footage we see clearly that nothing of this is true. The whole FIR is fabricated and is a lie. You can clearly see that the father is standing in front of the shop. There are other shops also open. Even the shop next to their mobile shop is open and nobody has a problem. Autos are flying, and the father is called and he walks up over there, and then people are, his son walks up to find out what is happening, and then he comes back. He is making a call in his mobile, and then he goes to the police station where they've taken the father. So there was no struggle, nothing. And why were two people who did not resist the police or did not abuse the police or did not threaten the police, which the police has been saying, were taken into custody just because they did not close the shop in whatever time the police expected them to close. They were taken into custody and brutally attacked, and they died. And today, it makes us wonder whether there was a motive behind the whole thing. Because I cannot understand what could have been the reason, what could have provoked such violence against two people who did not even resist for a minute. So why did this happen? And they were brutally hit, and we all know that they were bleeding from the rectum, and there was I met the family a few times, and the family told me that there was no skin on the body. The people who saw the body said that there was no skin in many parts.
Oh God!
What caused this kind of violence? Why were they brutalized to this extent? And then they were taken to the doctor who, I don't know how the doctor
then Ms. Kanimuri,
they were fit to be produced in front of the magistrate.
Ms. Kanimuri,
and then the magistrate sees them and then sends them to judicial custody, and the jail authorities also in the journal they mentioned that they were bleeding and the knees are swollen and the wrist is hurt. but still they take them into judicial custody.
Ms.
So
Kanimuri.
all these checks and balances have been violated.
Yeah, Ms. Kanimuri, I want to ask you, do you think, you talk about checks and balances violated, you say there is an ulterior motive. I want to know from you, you actually think that some of the claims made in the FIR are bizarre? Because, you know, the FIR says that they rolled over to the main road, entered into a sort of a brawl and inflicted these injuries. We see in the CCTV camera nothing of that sort.
The people and the people around and the family said they have been denying this. But today, with our own eyes, we can see from the CCTV footage, but that whatever was mentioned in the FIR is a clear lie. Nothing is true. The entire thing is fabricated. And I want to know what is the reason behind it. Why did the police lie from the letter go? Why did they have to do that? The FIR itself is a lie. What was the motive? And today, and one more thing. Today, the Madurai bench of the High Court has clearly said that the Satankulam police station is refusing to cooperate with the judicial magistrate, who has been appointed by the judicial magistrate appointed by the Madurai bench.
Yeah.
So they have asked the revenue officers to go and take over all the pertaining documents from them to hand over to the CBI, and the CBI takes over the
Yes, Ms. Kanimuri, we are aware the point that you seem to be mentioning, that now you know, someone else has taken over the police station so that there is no tampering of evidence. I want to know from you, generally it is seen all over the country, there is a tendency to hide police brutality. I mean, it's like asking the police to investigate its own. There is never any charge sheet, and even if there is, there are zero convictions. Do you think that pressure should be built in this case so that the history does not repeat itself?
One thing is, the police force is only a law enforcing department. They are not there to decide punishment. This they have to understand clearly. And the public, they have no right to hit people in the name of investigation, or once they're taken into custody, or you know, in order to bring them to law. The police has no authority to do that. And I want to know, why is the state government still silent? Why can't the state government make sure that the FIR is filed under 302, Section 302? And why are the people who are behind this murder, who are the cause of this cold-blooded murder, why have they not been arrested? They could have been arrested. Yes, you want to shift the case to CBI, that is fine.
Correct.
But then you can still arrest them.
Correct.
Why hasn't the state government done that?
Correct.
Why is the chief minister, even before the autopsy, why did he go and make a statement saying that they died because of breathlessness?
So,
and 2 days ago, a local minister says that it's not a law from death.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Kanimuri, for joining us. You know, I feel that there is a tendency, as far as the police force is concerned, to practice. First of all, obviously, there will be a cover-up when police is in question. And secondly, a very disturbing trend of Rambo policing. And why is this happening? Is this some sort of a mental illness? In some cases, as we've now learned from media reports, that perhaps there were prior complaints against these cops, that they chose to indulge in high-handedness. I want to introduce guests this evening. I have Vrinda Grover, an advocate in the Supreme Court. Thank you so much, Ms. Grover, for joining us. Mr. V.A. Pugarendi, spokesperson of the AIA DMK. Latika Saran, former Director General of Police, Tamil Nadu. And we also have Dhanya Rajendran, editor of the News Minute. Thank you so much for joining us on this. Let's first begin with you, Latika Saran, as the former DGP of Tamil Nadu. I want to know, do you think that this has now become a tendency? I mean, it's a no-brainer that the police will try to protect its own, especially in matters of custodial death. This is, and let's not shy away from calling it, a clear case of custodial death and murder.
What I'd like to say first is there is a magisterial inquiry going on, because as per the Supreme Court's orders, whenever there is a death in custody, be it in the police or the sub-jail, you have to have a magisterial inquiry. And so till that inquiry report is sent to the government, that is through the collector, there's nothing really we can say for or against it. Yes, all the media has made it out as a custodial death. Yes, the persons were taken into custody. I think there is a case registered also, and then they were produced before the magistrate and remanded to the sub-jail. That's as far as everybody
No, but Latika
knows.
Saran, don't you think that this new CCTV footage just punctures the claim of the police in the FIR that there was rolling over and a brawl? None of that is true.
See, with regard to all this, since the magistrate is inquiring into the matter, and I'm sure all the CCTV footage would be handed over to him, I don't think we should say anything per se on this case. Horrible as it is, I don't think we should say anything about this case right now, because there is a judicial inquiry going on.
Okay. Mr. Pugayendi.
And that's also going to be what the police probably have told you if you try to contact
Correct. You know, the reason why I ask you this question, because I've seen many cases of custodial death, not just in Tamil Nadu, but even in Uttar Pradesh, and nothing else. These matters went to the CBI also, nothing came of it, because, you know, those crucial, the crucial few days where you can actually get evidence, those days were lost. And the CBI hit a dead end and they filed a closure report. There are too many cases. Mr. Pugayendi, I want to come to you now. What is this? There is a lot of accusation. Mr. Pugayendi, can you hear me?
Absolutely fine.
Can you hear me, Mr. Pugayendi?
I'm not hearing.
Okay, we'll fix this audio connection and come back to you. Dhanya Rajendran, I saw the News Minute has been at the forefront of reporting all the aspects of this story. You just heard Latika Saran there saying that the media has made this out into a case of custodial death. I mean, there is a CCTV footage. Let's just, okay, fine. We can admit that this is one CCTV footage. We don't know the whole picture. But at a time like this, you know, this first initial claim that was made in the FIR that there was a brawl, this CCTV footage completely punctures that claim.
Well, Sanket, the CCTV footage actually punctures many claims made by the police. As you have rightly pointed out, the FIR said a couple of things. One is that Jairaj and Benix rolled on the ground and that caused injuries on them. The CCTV footage is very clear. It's around 15 to 20 minute footage from a shop next to Jairaj and Benix's shops. It clearly shows that there was absolutely no altercation between the police and the father-son duo. They did not roll on the ground. The police said there was altercation. The visuals show there was no altercation. The police said they both rolled on the ground. Visuals clearly show they didn't. And the third thing is the police clearly said there was a huge crowd outside their shop, which is why they had to arrest. There was no crowd outside the shop. There were 3 or 4 of Benix's friends inside the shop. In fact, the police do not even enter the shop. So all these lies in the FIR have been busted by the CCTV footage. Now let's go to day 1, which is on 23rd morning when we got to know that these deaths have happened. The first thing which came out of the top cop's mouth is that they both had some health conditions. In fact, the rumor was floated that one of them had a heart ailment. That's not true, right? Now we know that yes, one of them had hypertension and diabetes, but people just don't die in jails because they have diabetes and hypertension. And there are more than 4 or 5 eyewitnesses who have seen these men at the hospitals, at the hospital and the magistrate's house. They clearly saw them bleeding. And we also have seen the Kovilpatti jail doctors notings that they had injuries on their body. How did they die? I don't know. Eventually, it will be found out whether they were further tortured in the jail or was it only in the lockup, in the custody. Correct. But the point here is, look at the audacity of these cops. Today, the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has said, file a contempt petition against all these cops because one of the constables, Correct. He actually abused the magistrate in Tamil.
Yeah, he abused the magistrate and said that you can't do anything against me. We do remember it's become a matter of contempt. But you know, Dhanya and Ms. Vrinda Grover and Mr. Pugayendi, if you could just please stay with us, bear with us. There's some breaking news coming in at this moment, and this is extremely significant coming in from New Delhi, where the government has banned 59 mobile apps, which they claim are prejudicial to the sovereignty and integrity of India, to the defense of India, security of the state and public order. The Ministry of Information and Technology has invoked its power under Section 69A of the Information Technology Act, and that's a long list of apps which stand banned, and at the top of it is the most popular social networking app called TikTok. UC Browser, WeChat, Shine, ShareIt, all these apps have now been banned by the Ministry of Information and Technology. This is a big move. This is a big move by the government of India. It's banned 59 apps that it claims compromise the integrity, defense, and the security of state and public order of India. It'll be interesting to see an official statement from the government on the rationale beyond what has been mentioned initially, and also the response that will evoke through the course of the day and also tomorrow. Let me now come back to the discussion that we are having. Mr. Pugayendi, if you can hear me now, I want to ask you, you heard what Dhanya had to say. She has made it very clear that here are cops who have the audacity to say what they do in front of a magistrate. Here are cops who have been accused of custodial death. And here is a government which has refused to accept that there lies a problem. What are we to make of this?
Good evening to NDTV. First of all, my heartfelt condolence on passing of both Mr. Jairaj and Benix. We are not against those because we are supporting these people. The government helped them, and our minister also was there. They went to the house and convinced, and all the material collected. Now the question is, now after making investigation, after getting inquiry report from magistrate, it is to be altered under section 302 or 304. It is proved. Is that correct or not? You cannot jump. Now I observing now very clearly. You asked so many times. The footage says what? Have you seen the footage? I don't think that.
Mr. Pugayendi, I have seen the CCTV footage. It does not talk. Yeah. I can't see any brawl over there. I can see no rolling over. But I'm willing to admit at this moment that this may be one CCTV footage and may not be giving us the complete picture. Be that as it may, it punches a lot of holes in the police version. And might I add the government's version?
Yes, not other intention I am saying. Nothing is that footage kind of information to you because the showing time, but time is 9:15, or you believe or not. 9:15.
So you're saying that the same camera will show something else if we follow the right time?
Right time, yeah. 9:15.
Dhanya wants to come in. Dhanya, the state government says that we are looking at the wrong footage. Yeah, Vrinda Grover, I'll come back to you. Dhanya.
Yeah, correct. You are correct.
I want to say here,
but one thing, the second thing, what I am saying, all we have collected the material. The senior IPS officer retired, our DGP, Honorable DGP sitting with us. No, everything knows that law. Then what I am saying, tomorrow it is coming up before the Madurai High Court bench. They are monitoring. They asked all the details, footage and everything.
No, one moment. Mr. Pugayendi, I think it should be a matter of great shame for a state government to be hearing from the court that your police premises has been taken over. This is a matter of great shame, which means that the courts feel that they don't trust you, that you will tamper with evidence. As simple as that. Vrinda Grover, I want to bring you in on the larger point on human rights. Do you think that there is something wrong? Does this story, that this incident prove that there is some sort of a problem as far as law enforcement in this country is concerned? Some sort of a mental imbalance.
It's not a small problem. It's a gigantic issue confronting this country repeatedly custodial violence of this kind comes forward, and then we are shocked, we are angry, and then we forget those cases, and the impunity is assured. We already have apologists on your panel, already making excuses. Please understand, nobody here is coming to a determination on the custodial death, but we are saying prima facie, this is a case of custodial violence, that it is an admitted fact that those two men were in the custody of the police. It's an undisputed fact that they have died succumbing to injuries. Injuries do not happen through divine intervention. They have been perpetrated by the police in whose custody they were. So let's not run away from some basic facts. The magistrate is going to affix further responsibility. The fact that they are still suspended, they have not been arrested, whether under 302 or 304 is something for the court to decide. That does not mean you cannot arrest.
Correct.
The High Court is saying they are interfering with the investigation. What are the basic premises on which bail is not given? There is a grave offense. They will interfere with investigation. They will tamper with evidence. These men, and this is not the first complaint of custodial violence from this very police station. So let us take this problem seriously, and it's not about few bad apples. I think we need to purge ourselves of this notion of few bad apples.
Correct.
This impunity is embedded in the law, which protects them. When they will have to go for trial, please remember, this very state government will be required to give sanction for prosecution.
Correct.
And you can recall my words at that time. The policemen are going to say, we did this in the course of official duty. Will the government of the day award sanction for prosecution
That's
or not?
exactly
Please
the
do
point
not
that I'm
interrupt.
trying to make.
Please
How
do
do
not
you-
interrupt.
Yeah,
Can
one
the
moment, Mr. Pugain.
Can the representatives
Let her
of
complete,
people
Mr.
allow
Pugain.
people to speak and learn to
That is
listen
the law.
to people in this country? Please do not interrupt. I did not interrupt you. If you would hear the people of this country, the country would be better off today.
How you are saying
This
the bleeding government?
impunity is...
How you are saying the bleeding government? You are
Please.
wrong, no?
Can I continue without interruption by a member of the...
Please continue. Please continue.
Oh, with your grace and your permission, I continue. This impunity is embedded in the law. There is a nexus, again, in the scheme of things that we have, where the political class and the police have a nexus. The reason why they are assured, because there is no deterrence, there is no punishment. So this is not about the mental well-being. There are certain classes of people who are picked up and further targeted.
Correct.
Please see how the lockdown was enforced across the country.
Correct.
Many
I
TV channels
absolutely agree.
reported.
Latika Saran,
Why
before
was
we
it
conclude, I'm
imposed
running
by
out
the
of time.
width of the baton?
Vrinda Grover, I think, makes some pertinent points. Latika Saran, before we go, see, there are so many unanswered questions. Not closing a shop is one of the reasons that has been mentioned. It's a petty case. First of all, why arrest people? Number two, why night-long interrogation for this trivial issue? If you don't close a shop, then there will be night-long interrogation. And also, why nearby jails were not chosen and a jail 80 kilometers away was? What sort of high-handedness is this?
Let me start backwards. It's the magistrate before whom they were produced who sent them to the sub-jail in Koilpati. It also comes into Thoothukudi district. So, yes, he can send them to whichever sub-jail.
Okay, Ms. Latika Saran, I believe you're getting a Skype call. Yeah, very quickly, last word, Dhanya Rajendran. What do you make of this? Do you think that now, at least with the matter in the CBI, we've seen, I mean, history has told us that the CBI entering also does not make matters necessarily, in favor of the victim or to give them justice. We've seen the case of Y.S. Sachan, the deputy CMO's murder, and then eventually the CBI came in and said this was a matter of suicide.
Well, Sanket, first thing, I agree with Vrinda that this is not about one case. This is about systemic abuse by the police. We have seen many governments, consecutive governments in various states supporting the police whenever a case of custodial brutality or torture comes before the court. So this Jayaraj and Benix's death, of course, has created national outrage. It's put some attention into this issue, which a lot of people have been talking about for years. That's one thing. Second thing, highly disappointed with Tamil Nadu government, which has continuously been talking about due process, that there is a magisterial inquiry.
Correct.
Yes, but nothing stops the government from also
taking
asking
action.
for the FIR to be altered and to charge these two policemen.
Absolutely.
Many jurists have been saying that they should have done because so many
Don't
eyewitnesses
hide
have
behind the
come-
CBI. I think it's as simple as that. What Dhanya is trying to say. Latika sir, I have completely run out of time. My apologies. We'll debate this further. We'll discuss this because I feel that this is an extremely important issue which needs further deliberation and further discussion. Mr. Pugaindi, Dhanya Rajendran, Vrindra Grover, as well as Latika sir, thank you so much for joining us on Reality Check. News will continue right here on NDTV. Stay with us.